Hey guys, it's me again. I don't know why I was talking like that in my intro. I always do weird things and say weird things and act weirdly. I'm a character. What can I say? Anyway, this is one of the many videos I had planned for a while. I know it's February, so it's teeny weeny bit late, but predictions preview video of 2012. I'm going to throw out a few things that I think will happen 2012, and at the end of the year I'll look back and see which I got right and which I got wrong and discuss. And yeah, you can get involved in it as well if you want, but you probably won't because you're a lazy bunch. Anyway, one of my predictions has already come true, so I'd written it before it actually occurred, but it doesn't really matter. Morishima Takeshi was going to become the GHC heavyweight champion, and he did. He beat Shiozaki, won the title. There you go. This one. It's an obvious one, and I'm not gonna lie in saying that some of these are going out on a limb, and some of these aren't. And some of these are things I want to see happen, and some of them aren't. Regardless, WrestleMania 28 will be considered the most successful pay-per-view of the PG era. This is pretty much a no-brainer. If it's as successful as it should be, which means it should be the most successful WrestleMania of all time. I don't mean it's necessarily going to be looked at and said that's the best WrestleMania of all time, or this is the best wrestling pay-per-view of all time. But I mean it's going to draw the most. It will get the most buys. I mean it's Cena versus Rock. It's a huge match. In turn, I think people compare it to Rock Hogan. It's not at that level in terms of the two stars, and the Rock and Hogan I think was a bigger draw in terms of star power. I mean, you look at it now, and I wouldn't say John Cena's as big a star as The Rock was back then. Although I would probably say that The Rock's probably as big a draw as Hogan was back then. Anyway, regardless, the thing that's different about this is that how long has The Rock been away from? I know the Survivor Series takes away from it, but how long has The Rock been away from WrestleMania? Last time he was at WrestleMania was 8 years ago. This is in his hometown of Miami, in a stadium, the Sun Life Stadium, I think it is, in Miami, Florida. And going to be huge crowd. And I'm sure the undercard's going to be decent. I mean, if you're going to go with Punk Jericho, then you've got to have a decent undercard. You've got a decent undercard semi-main event, whatever you want to call it. And I'm sure Daniel Bryan, if he's still champion, then he's going to have a good world title match, no matter who he's against. Well, I'm going to assume Daniel Bryan, Sheamus is probably on the card, but that's for a later date. But yeah, I just think that we've only got one match so far. You could probably guess a few more matches. You're going to have Triple H versus Undertaker there as well, which is going to draw because I think they're gonna focus more on building it this time than they did last time, where I don't think it was necessarily built the right way. But yeah, I just feel like this is going to be a hugely successful pay-per-view. It might be the most successful WWE pay-per-view of all time, but I definitely think it's going to be the most successful of the PG era. I think saying it's going to be the most successful of the PG era is maybe playing it safe on my part, but it's definitely going to be a huge WrestleMania buy rate, I think. I guess. Second prediction for 2012 is that The Rock will not be done with the WWE following WrestleMania. And I mean in the ring. I think we'll see The Rock in the ring again before I know this is sort of a dubious one because I'm not convinced he'll be in another match this year. But I just don't think I don't think it's going to be the last you see of him in terms of in ring. Because rumor has it that Cena's supposed to go over at WrestleMania, and I really don't see how that works. Like, there's no way in hell the way they book things at the minute that WWE is ever going to be able to get that over. No way in hell. So the idea of The Rock losing in his hometown at WrestleMania in his last match to John Cena after all of this, where everybody's behind The Rock, and it's just no, don't feel right. No, feels wrong. Cena needs to win it. The Rock needs to win it, and then have a rematch, and then Cena can win the rematch, and then they're 1-1, and then you can go for a rubber match. You see, this is the way I would work it. If I could, then I would go Rock goes over Cena at WrestleMania 28. Cena goes over Rock at SummerSlam. And then you have Rock Cena 3 at WrestleMania 29. Then you've got another... You can run that match at least 3 times. At least 3 times. And I think it would help a SummerSlam buy rate to see a big rematch of that main event. So... And then if you've got it on the WrestleMania 29 card as well, then you've already got that as a strong... I know, like... it's just a matter of having The Rock not be the big draw at WrestleMania 29, because you don't want The Rock and Cena to overshadow anything. Although I think the idea of having it at SummerSlam again, running it again at SummerSlam is fine. That's perfectly fine, because I don't think anybody would have much of a problem with that, because it's going to add to the card. It's going to add buys. It's just going to build the thing as a whole. So I don't think many people would have a problem with that. But yeah, Rock won't be done with WWE after WrestleMania anymore, I don't think. Batista's going to return to WWE. This is one that's been talked about for a while. I mean, since he left, they've always said that the door's open on a Batista return. And I just can't see him being away for too much longer, because, you know, his MMA career didn't really get off the ground. And, I mean, he keeps in shape. He's a lot smaller now. Steroids. He's off the roids, so he's not as big. But I mean, especially with the lack of star power at the minute. I mean, you've got Jericho, you've got Cena, you've got Orton, you've got Punk, and those are your big 4 stars. And I mean, outside of them, the next biggest star is probably Daniel Bryan. Which, no offense to Daniel Bryan, but he's not a draw. He's not a drawer as a megastar or anything like that. And especially with people like Triple H and Undertaker wrestling less and less and less and less each and every year, and you had Shawn Michaels retiring, which I don't think they still ever recovered from, and I'm not sure they will for a long time, because until Dolph Ziggler breaks through into the main event, I don't think you're going to have another Shawn Michaels. I mean, Daniel Bryan is a good enough worker that he can sort of semi-fill the void left by Shawn Michaels, as weird as that may sound, but he can't replace Shawn Michaels, because he's not charismatic enough. And I mean, I'm not saying that Daniel Bryan can't do a promo, because he can, but he's not a showstopper. And I think Dolph Ziggler is probably Dolph Ziggler is my favourite wrestler at the minute. Dolph Ziggler is definitely the guy I see as stepping up and being huge. I see him being I could see him being the next Orton, the next Cena, the next Rock, the next Austin, the next Triple H, the next Undertaker. I just think he's that level of a star. He's got the look, he's got the in-ring ability. His promos have come on leaps and bounds. I mean, he's always been decent. I mean, he could cut a promo since he was in the Spirit Squad. And he's come along and developed as a character, and I mean, he's overcome the whole Dolph Ziggler gimmick. and the name and everything. When people say, "You know, who's going to buy Dolph Ziggler as a WWE champion?" Well, I think people are buying him, Dolph Ziggler, as a WWE champion right now. So yeah, Batista will return to WWE because of the lack of star power. Wade Barrett will win a heavyweight title. This one I'm not sure about, but the way they pushed him, I don't see any reason not to think he's going to win the title. I mean, again, lack of star power. And he's definitely somebody who they have faith in. He's a big guy. He can cut promo. He's good. He's good heel. He's a very, very good heel. I mean, he's slightly generic because they always paint the British guys a heel, although he doesn't exactly look like a face. I think Barrett's going to be one of those guys that can be an upper card heel to a main eventer. He can be in and around that level, where he can sort of go back and forth between the heavyweight and the continental title scene, or he could sort of be the void. He can sort of fluctuate in that void as well, where he can have good matches against faces who are on their way to the title and that sort of thing. He can prepare people for that for the main event. He's definitely there, and I definitely think he deserves a run. And I'd like to see him as a heavyweight champion because we haven't had an English heavyweight champion. But he's probably our best hope right now, and his in-ring work is definitely improved as well. So I see Barrett as a future heavyweight champion. Dean Ambrose makes the jump up to the main roster. They are so high on him. I'm not the former John Moxley. I'm not huge on him. I don't think he's as good as a lot of people make him out to be. I mean, I watched his Iron Man match with Seth Rollins, Tyler Black, and I mean, everybody was saying, "Oh, such a great match of the year," blah 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 blah, and just build it up, and then ooh, it was maybe 4 stars at best, in my opinion. And I think that was because it was built up. So I mean, it could have been. It wasn't. There were so many gaps in the match where you had nothing, no real action. And I mean, I understand in a storytelling context that's fine and blah blah blah. But in terms of entertaining me, no, that match did not entertain me. No, sorry, no. Told a good story, but didn't entertain me. But yeah, I just reckon Dean Ambrose is going to be making that jump up to the main roster before the year is out. Dolph Ziggler becomes a permanent fixture in the main event. I'm not sure that they're gonna quite. I mean, he's been there and thereabouts for a while now. I mean, he's a former world heavyweight champion. He main evented 2 Royal Rumbles in a row. And the Royal Rumble was probably the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. I mean, he was in title matches at Royal Rumble. He was in the World Heavyweight title match last year, and he was in the WWE title match this year. And I feel like he had 2 great matches. He had a great match with CM Punk, despite the overbooking, and he had a great match with Edge, despite the overbooking. But yeah, he's so good in the ring. He's so charismatic. He's worked this whole show off gimmick is brilliant. I mean, every single time I see Dolph Ziggler do a headstand or a handstand, whatever you want to call it, I mark out because it fits him so perfectly. See, I still think he should go with the Mr. Perfect gimmick. I think he should do that. I think literally, he had the music. Oh, fuck! The music! Oh, they changed the music. That kills me. But I mean, yeah, maybe it's a sign that he's getting a push. Same with Wade Barrett. Why did they take these guys, and when these guys finally get... Their music is finally getting... Well, Dolph Ziggler's music always got over with me. Wade Barrett's music was finally starting to get over with me, and I didn't really like it, but it was better than the shit they gave him now. And the same with Dolph Ziggler. It's just... irks me. But yeah, I look for Dolph Ziggler to become a permanent fixture in the main event because I just think he belongs there, in my opinion. I don't see... Dolph Ziggler is definitely... Like I said, I see Dolph Ziggler as the next big thing. Fuck Brock Lesnar. Naito Tetsuya becomes the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. This is what should happen. I'm not sure it will, but it's what should happen. I'm not sure if he's going to beat Tanahashi, and I'm not sure whether it's going to be soon. But I think I can see him winning G1 and then beating Tanahashi for the belt. I can see that happening. I could see Goto winning G1 and winning the belt. But I'd like to see Naito become the champion. Naito's come on leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. I mean, he proved it when in the title match with Tanahashi, when he had the second best match of Tanahashi's year with him behind the Goto match. And he had a great. I cannot stress how good the Naito Goto match was from this time last year, the New Beginning pay-per-view 2011. What a match! I mean, they went out there and they worked a 25-minute match in about 12 minutes. Oh my god! And a great one. Like, it was like non-stop, bang, 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 bang. 5 stars I gave it. I gave it 5 stars. It was my match of the year. It was so good. It was just brilliant. Definitely a match you should check out. If you don't believe the hype for those two, because those two they were just phenomenal. Fucking hell, poor Kojima and Tanahashi. Well, not poor Tanahashi, never poor Tanahashi, but poor Kojima for having to follow that, because that was fantastic. Yano Toro turns face. He's so over. It's just gonna happen. If he doesn't turn face, it's a bad decision from New Japan's part. As good of a heel as Yano is, he's just so over at the minute. He needs to turn. So yeah. Kenta gets another heavyweight title shot. This is more a prediction because he's not been around because he got injured. So, and he's still gonna be out for a while. So. But I reckon that he'll get another title shot before the end's out. I can see him coming back and then immediately giving him a title shot. Not like first match back, but immediately saying pushing him, having maybe 2, 3, 4 wins on non pay-per-view shows, and then non-big shows. Big shows. There's no pay-per-views all there. I always refer to big shows as pay-per-views, even if they're not. But that's just me, naturally. Because I'm used to the big shows being on pay-per-view. But I just feel like, because Kenta was so over en route to his match against Shiozaki, and I'm glad he didn't win, because he's not there yet, in my opinion. And Shiozaki really needed to have a run with the title, which he did. He had a decent run. It wasn't great, but it was decent. And Morishima was the guy that he should have been the guy, and it should have been the other way round. It should have been Morishima having a run, and then Shiozaki taking the title off Morishima, and then Shiozaki having a run himself. But they finally got the title on Morishima, and they're going to give him a run with it. So, thumbs up from me. All Might Express win the ROH Tag Team Championships. Now this is it's just one I'm throwing out there. There are a few. These last 3 are just 3. This is the penultimate one. I just feel like All Night Express. I feel like they should have won the titles at Best in the World last year, because they were just so over in that tag team title match, and just wrestling's greatest tag team match. And I mean, the Briscoes are really over at the minute, but they've had so many runs with the titles, and they're not as entertaining a team in the ring, in my opinion. They have a stiff style, but they're not. I mean, the Briscoes not having the tag team titles isn't going to be. You're not going to look at the Briscoes as a tag team who don't have the titles and then think they're not as good of a tag team without the titles, because that's bullshit. Because they're always going to be a great tag team, because they are a great tag team. All Might Express need the tag team titles to be pushed. to be pushed as the top team. I mean, they're a very good team, but they're not looked at as the top team. They deserve to be the top team, so they need the titles. That's just the way I look at it with them. So I want them to win the tag team titles. I'm not sure they will, but I want them to. And my final prediction for 2012: Sana Saya wins the Triple Crown. Now this one is another one. But he's definitely been built to it. He definitely makes sense. He's not necessarily the guy I want to see win the Triple Crown. Second motor. But he's definitely somebody I would be happy to see as champion. He's over. He's good in the ring. He's not the best, but he's been built to that position where he should be. I feel like he should be the guy that takes the belt from Akiyama. I mean, I'm not expecting this again. This is not something I expect to happen in the next few months. I want to see Akiyama have a run till maybe the end of the year, towards the end of the year. I could see Akiyama holding the belt till maybe October, November, and then passing it on to Sanada. And I would have no problem with that, because I think Akiyama deserves his run. He's worked hard for it. It's been a long time coming. He's deserving champion. He's finally got the belt. He's finally going to run with it. Great for him. Pass it on to a young guy. Don't give it to somebody. Don't give it to a Muto or a Suwama or a guy that's already held it, or a guy that's already an established main eventer. Give it to somebody young. That's the problem with the Japanese wrestling companies. They don't push the younger guys the right way at the right time. This is something that even WWE has over on them. I mean, they're pushing Dolph Ziggler. They're pushing Cody Rhodes. They're pushing Wade Barrett. They're pushing Sheamus. Even if some of these... I mean, even if the whole Sheamus push is stupid because of the way they've worked it, and now all of a sudden he wins a Royal Rumble, at least they're trying. That's something I can give them. At least they're trying. So, no. And it's proven with the whole Wrestle Kingdom debacle with fucking horrible match with Muto and Naito. And Muto going over Naito so unnecessarily. Just pointless. Pointless shit. So, you know... Naito needed to go over there. He just needed to, and you know, in this situation, Sanada needs to be the one that wins the belt, in my opinion. So, and that's been my predictions preview for 2012. Tell me what you think, and leave your predictions and preview and whatever down below. And I'm out. Peace.